Good Tuesday morning to you. This Vermont Utility Weather Hazards Outlook is valid the rest of today, Tuesday, through next Sunday, March the 20th. Occasional showery rains will move through from time to time, mostly during the nights and mornings, before colder air aloft will circulate into the region. This will change rain showers to minor snow showers in the mountains, but possible down to the valley floors, making for slushy travel, especially in the higher terrain Friday morning. High pressure will build in for the weekend. This will put a block on a southern stream storm that will be developing this weekend, and any changes will be updated, but expect good project weather due to that area of higher pressure over through the weekend with much colder conditions also. You're looking at currently live lightning. This is some thunderstorm activity. It's quite intense across the western portion of the Atlantic Ocean off the eastern seaboard. And indeed, we're not into thunderstorm season yet, but it does show you just how far north these storms can get. We've seen plenty of this stuff in the central prairies and western prairies, but we're not there yet here for Vermont, as this has a tendency to fall apart as it moves in. But this is some live lightning looking at blitzer time. And looking at the broader range, we had a little bit of mixed precipitation types that has rolled on out of the region. No issues to be expected until we see some colder air wrap around a storm system. This is that area of low pressure which will then track toward the Great Lakes and circulate in some colder air. And you can see some of these temperatures here in the 30s and 20s over the northern and central Rockies. That'll be working in along about late overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning along our highest elevations of the Green Mountains, and then really a little bit more of a stab at it along about Thursday night, Friday morning. And that one could produce a little bit of smidgen of snow down the valley floors and make for slippery travel. Both these events will be non-impactful for utilities. You can see a trough of low pressure associated with the surface low, and indeed this is going to be swinging into our neck of the woods here. One other thing to note is just how cold it is up in the northern areas. We're seeing temperatures in the minus 20s and minus teens, and some of these temperatures are this colder air mass is going to work its way south over the weekend. So a quick look at the HRRR model, and you can see some rain showers are going to be heading into upstate New York and the St. Lawrence Valley, and then up into our neck of the woods. And it looks like most of this is going to get in here tonight. This is about 10 o'clock this evening, and the last 11 o'clock this evening right here. Okay, jumping to the European model now, we can see the little bit of precipitation that works through overnight, mostly in the form of rain showers, and in fact all in the form of rain showers. A little bit of a break in the action there with this slight ridging of higher pressure. And then kind of a secondary frontal system connected up with a fairly intense area of low pressure crossing through the Great Lakes will then be working its way toward us. But you can see the transition here. This is that'd be valid in about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. And then that kind of moves on through, and we get that colder weather with that secondary low that starts to develop here. So a bit of a hodgepodge, all precipitation relatively light Thursday into Friday. We're looking at Thursday night into Friday morning. And then this area of higher pressure here associated with much colder air aloft will then begin to filter down and build into the region for what should be some pretty good weather as we begin to make that transition. The other thing I want to call your attention to, though, is this southern storm, and you can see pretty good thickness here, what we call the baroclinic zone. That is when colder air is next to warmer air, something likes to spin up. A lot of jet stream energy coming out of from the Pacific states, and this is going to tap into some moisture down in the southeast United States. Just about the time this area of higher pressure builds in across our region, we're looking at this system tracking and then trying to move up the coast, but get shunted out to sea. Now, models yesterday, just 24 hours ago, were bringing us a ton of snow up and down the eastern seaboard, including here in Vermont. That has since been pushed south. So a little bit shaky ground as to what's going to be happening next week. So let's run the progression here. There's that southern storm. Keep your eyes on the Gulf coastal areas around Florida, then up into the middle Atlantic. There's the area of higher pressure overhead, giving us, this is valid, by the way, about 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So that moves on out and weakens a little bit, but still holds its own. And you can see precipitation just almost up to the vicinity of the Vermont border. This is more or less Berga, I would suspect. but 984 millibar area of low pressure that's going to be tracking out to sea. It's something we're going to have to keep a close eye on and watch, as we may see some snow showers and flurries and whatnot as we get into the early part of next week, but just too soon to say as to what's going to happen. But does look like this weekend is going to be seeing some pretty good weather. So in terms of anomalous temperature, you can see the warm-up here that's taking place. This is every day, so the 20th of March, the 21st of March. Here comes a cool down. This is what's going to be moving in this weekend. That moves on out and gets replaced by slight warming or neutral temperatures here in Vermont. Then that moves on through, and we start to get replaced by a little bit of a cool down as we get into the first day of April. And you can see kind of oscillating back and forth. A little cooler there, April 8th, and so forth. Looking back at precipitation totals, this is the 7-day accumulation through into early next week, into Tuesday morning. And you can see nearly 2 inches. So something's brewing here, something we'll have to watch, but a couple shots of rain showers adding to that. And these are 5-day maximum temperature anomalies. You can see near neutral, weighted overall. And we jump into colder conditions, about 3 to 6 degrees below normal thereafter. And this was 7-day total snowfall. You can see 1 inch amounts. You could probably add 1 inch on top of many of these from the snow that we had yesterday. We had one report in Orange County of 2 inches. You might add about an inch on top of that with 3 inches total. And snow depths, 26 inches at the stake, which is about, it's less than 1/2 below normal. And a couple spots reporting 2 inches. Of course, this is measured as of yesterday before that band of snow showers moved on through. So using the GFS ensemble in summary, the plumes here, this is centered on Burlington, Vermont. You can see rain, rain, rain. A little slug of it moves in Thursday morning, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And then temperatures aloft changing to snow. That'll cool the temperatures and make snow. So we see the blue color here. But this occurs with these amounts, and you're talking under 1/10 of an inch. A little bit of a period of drying out over the weekend, and we get into early next week, and still staying cold enough to snow. And centered on Montpelier, we can see the maximum temperatures today around 40, nighttime lows above the freezing mark. We get into the low 50s and low to mid 50s potentially as we get into the day on Thursday per the European model. Then temperatures cool off, and you can see the coldest we're going to see is definitely around 15 at night. And then by day, we're talking about temperatures generally in the 30s. At least this is what the National Weather Service thinks. And current readings of the modeling indicates near 30. And I think this is probably about where things are going to end up before a little bit of a warm-up on especially Sunday afternoon. And then we'll see what happens beyond here. It's very, very unsettled and low skill with very many of the models right now. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.